Hey everybody, this is the Arduino IDE. Within this, you're going to create a sketch for your Arduino project. In this one, I program one LED in pin 2 on the Arduino to flash, to light up for 1 second, and to shut off for 1 second. And because it's in this loop, it will continue to run. As you heard in Bob's Maker 101 video about how to write your sketch, this is a loop because the Arduino is a microcontroller. It will do one thing over and over and over until you tell it to stop. So I just want to break this down for you. At the top, the program is telling the board to read LED in pin 2. Here you're setting up what's going to happen. The pin mode for pin 2, which is now defined as LED, is an output. Because LEDs are not used as input, you're going to define that pin as an output pin to light up your LED. So within the loop, you're telling the the Arduino Uno, to one time turn on your LED. That's why it says high here, LED, high, that means on. You're going to leave it on for 1 second. Seconds are measured by 1,000, so it's measuring in 1,000ths of a second. And delay means that that's how long that this command will happen for. Then you're going to digitally write the LED becomes low, which means turning it off, and you're going to delay for 1 second again. And we'll go back and talk about these variables. Now, so here's what's going to happen. You're going to load your sketch into this Arduino Uno via this USB cable. So if we plug that in, plug in the rectangular end into the USB connection on your computer, plug in the square side to the Uno, and you can see that the LED power light is on. Great. Now, we'll go back and we will verify this sketch. We're going to call it Light 1. Saving that in the Arduino folder. It's compiling the sketch. And down here it says it's done compiling. That means that it's read everything is okay right now. We're going to upload via this. There was a problem. Okay, as we see, there is an error down here, and that's because in the Arduino IDE, I didn't tell it which port to use to save to the Arduino. So my Arduino is connected to the USB cable and to my computer. So I've got to go to Tools and go to Port, and I want to use USB modem 1421. And then also I need to tell it which board we're using. So the board is not the Mega 2560, which is what I usually use. It's an Uno. So I have to click on Uno. Now I can go back and upload the file, or upload the sketch into the Arduino. And if I've selected the correct thing, it's going to say it's done uploading. So now it's uploaded. All right, now what we have to do is connect this LED to the board in the right spot. All right, so we've got to take this Uno and we've got to plug in this LED. Now the LED looks a little bit fried on the anode, so I'm a little worried about this. Let's see if it works. I'm going to use this breadboard, if you can see here. It's got all these pins in it, so that extends the pins off the headers on the Uno into the breadboard. To do that, we need to hook up these wires. So I like to color code. It makes things a lot easier for me. I'm going to use the darker purple as my ground. So I'll plug that into the ground. I don't know if you can see the GND here. That's GND. We'll plug purple into the ground. And then we have programmed the pin 2, which is up here, that we take the hot wire and go into pin 2 with that. Now, we put those into the positive and negative on the breadboard. There we go, now we can see. Excellent, so let's put the purple into the negative on the breadboard and the red into the positive. Now, what that does is runs power from the Arduino all the way through this strip. Now this strip is parallel this way, and these pieces are parallel that way. So we're going to have to run positive from the red wire on this side into here and negative into here. To do that, I'm going to use a resistor from, and you have to make sure you keep in polarity on your LED. So I'm going to run positive on pin 23 to 23, and sorry, that should have been negative. So I'm running negative along there, and I'll use pin 18 as my hot, which is red, to pin 17. So here's how that looks, and I'll take a photo of that so you can see it in just a minute. You want to do this so that you're going to separate the pins on the LED. Alright, so here's how I do this. I take the long pin, remember that's the anode, I bend it up a little bit, and I'll bend it halfway down, so I've got this. And what that looks like, so you can see the LED on my fingertip, like that. I'm going to run the cathode, or the negative, which is the shorter end. I'm going to run that to the resistor. There, we can see it running. There we go. Alright, it's just a color changing LED. So it's on for 1 second, it's off for 1 second. On for 1, off for 1. So we're running the program now. As you can see, it's flickering red and blue because it's a 3-color bulb. On for 1, off for 1. On for 1, off for 1. Now, one cool thing that we can do is change the variables within this set. So if I take these variables here, so it's on for 1 second, I say I want it on for half a second, and I want it off for 1 full second. I'll reload my sketch. That's on for half a second, off for 1 second. If I want it off for 2 seconds, or 3 seconds, change that to 3000. Now you'll really be able to tell. Alright, so we can see that staying lit for half a second and being off for 3. There we go. Alright, so now you know what to do with your variables. So it's not that hard to run your LED. I want you guys to play around with the variables, the amount of time that you're running that LED for. You don't want to change which pin you're using in the LED, or for the LED out of the Uno, but you do want to play around with this time signature. So I'll do one more and give you an idea of what it's on for 3 seconds looks like, and off for 200 thousandths of a second, or 2/100ths of a second. I'm going to shut the lights off, and you'll be able to see this. So I'll compile that. So you can see now that it stays on for 3 seconds and is off for 2/100ths of a second, or 200/1000ths of a second, which is a very short amount of time. There we go. Let's do one more thing. I want this to flicker really fast. So I'll keep it on for 200ths of a second and off for 200ths of a second. Let's make it go even faster. There we go. So it's on for 1/100th of a second, off for 1/100th. And you can just keep playing around with that. That's up to you guys, whatever you want to do. Just make sure that your LED is blinking the way you want it to. When I check out your work, or you record your work and upload it to your website, be able to talk about that. Okay, try out the Uno, make your LED blink. If you have questions, email me or ask me in person. Thanks, guys.